What is up, my dudes? We got the Corporate Esports Association Dota 2 Spring 2019 tournament going on. We got Facebook Mid or Newsfeed versus CapOne, What's in Your Warlock. And this cast is going to be slightly different to the usual, mostly because I'm actually playing in this game as the captain of Mid or Newsfeed. So, I do know the outcome of this game. It's not that far long ago that I've completely forgotten what happened in this game, but hopefully I'll try and give some insights into what I was thinking at the time and try not to spoil the outcome. So I spent about 30 minutes looking up all of CapOne What's in Your Warlock games, and we decided to ban Doom, Bounty, and either Mars or Clinks. It was like the choices here. Doom because Doom's a pretty good hero, and they've also run Doom 3 times already. And Bounty Hunter just because he's very cheesy. This is a best of 3. This is also in the round of 8 of the playoffs, so pretty deep into the tournament, but I wasn't really feeling like my chances against BH have improved a whole lot, even though Janata got nerfed by 10 damage at most levels, I think it was, maybe just the final level, but I think BH is still a pretty strong hero. At this point in the chat, really confused by What's in Your Warlock's ban here. They banned CM. CM is one of my most played heroes. I've got about 600 games on her, but I'm not feeling too confident about CM in general right now. I think the about 6 months ago, she was a very well-rounded hero, but then her mana cost went up by a lot, and then everything is about the ultimate now and whether or not you can get a good ultimate. I guess the increases, the buffs to her attack speed have been really nice in this patch. And I have actually had a pretty decent success so far with CM in this patch, but I still don't feel too strongly about the hero, so I'm laughing a little bit because they banned my hero, but I don't really care too much. I'm kind of peeved by the Sand King ban though, because we really did want to run Sand King, but instead we decided to go with Warlock instead, because Warlock is an easy game, easy life type of hero, and gotta spam out the Seb lines because I managed to deny their Warlock pick. Well, I don't think What's in Your Warlock have played Warlock before. At least from the research I did, they didn't play any Warlock, so it's a little bit disappointing for them. But I also stole it from them, so I sent the Seb in the chat line. You can do that by bringing up the console and you say chat wheel says, and then there's a code for it, but I can't remember off the top of my head. You have to look it up on the wiki. So What's in Your Warlock, they opened with a Grimstroke pick, which we kind of expected, but they don't necessarily have the Doom right now. So, and also Sand King, which is the other really common one, but they're gonna pick Sven instead. And this is a pretty decent duo, but it's Sven doesn't really want to get aggressive early on, so it's like just the laning phase, and that's it if they decide to lane together. And that being said, it is a pretty strong combo. You have the Stormbolt into the Inkswell, which is a pretty long duration disable, and a lot of damage coming out of both spells as well, because Stormbolt does a little bit more than the average nuke, and Grimstroke's the Inkspell, if you manage to get the full duration, it does a lot of damage, but obviously you have to stick to them. You have to like open with a Stormbolt and then put the Inkspell on as soon as he gets close to get the full damage here. We were thinking about Lesh at this point, because Warlock Lesh is a pretty nice combo because there's a lot of splash damage, but we decided to go with the Tidehunter instead because he can bully the Sven out of lane pretty convincingly. It's also doubling down on the team fight. Now we've got Warlock, Golem, and the Ravage, which is a pretty huge team fight. It also makes us very cooldown dependent, so we have to be a bit careful of that. We banned the Bat Rider because Bat and Grim is a super good combo, and we don't really have any way to deal with Bat right now. With Warlock as the lane support, it's not very good against Bat Rider. You're just going to get run out, you're going to get Fireflied, and it's going to be a rough time because we don't have Oracle or a Baton to purge off the Suki name part charges, and there's not really many opportunities to pick like PL because he gets cleaved down by Sven pretty hard, and also has a lot of trouble dealing with Grimstroke sometimes. Because you can, if you manage to soulbind the right PL, it's like pretty obvious who the real PL is. Actually, I don't think soulbind affects the illusion, so you can just drop the soulbind and then it'll just work. But I should double check that. Maybe it is even better than I thought it would be.
Only 10 seconds.
And they banned Pangolier, which is quite interesting because we don't play Pangolier at all. But I also enjoyed that ban. Had a bit of a chuckle there. We banned the Lich because Grim Lich is just another really good combo. So okay, so Soulbind only binds towards heroes, but the primary target can still be an illusion, which is pretty problematic for the Grimstroke. If he soulbinds an illusion and the illusion dies, as do most PL illusions, it's just gonna be completely wasted. But one way you can get around it is soulbind one of PL's allies, and then it'll always latch onto the PL. And he also gets leashed, so he won't be able to use the doppelganger, which is a pretty good combo. They're gonna ban Jakiro. I have been spamming Jakiro a lot, maybe looking at my profile and seeing that, but I've already locked in Warlock for myself, so I don't mind too much. Although Jakiro Warlock is it's not too bad actually. There's still a lot of AoE damage for the Fatal Bonds. So I'm feeling pretty confident about our opening. I think they're not going to be able to match our team fight. So what's in your Warlock? They're going to have to pivot pretty quickly into a more split pushing style, because there's no way that they can take fights against us unless.
Radiant team pick.
But they go for the DP instead, so they want to fight us, which is a little bit surprising for us. The other thing is revealing DP super early is very risky, because there's nothing stopping us from just picking a mid who can beat DP in lane. And we have a Wind Ranger player who's pretty good at Wind Ranger, and it's a pretty easy matchup for Wind Ranger. So I'm trying to remember if we picked her now or later. Pretty sure we still pick her pretty early on in the draft.
5 seconds remain.
Yeah, picking a mid this early, very risky.
Dire's turn to make all the wrong choices.
And yeah, that's right. We picked Nyx, which is I guess one of our signature heroes. But just super good against the Grimstroke and the DP, and even Sven, because you can just stand in the cleave and then spike Carapace in. There's a lot of uncontrollable damage here. Grimstroke less so, although you can still walk into the Inkswell and that counts. DP with the Ghost makes it's pretty obnoxious. Although I'm not. Hold on, maybe it doesn't even work against
5 seconds. Hurry,
Ghosts.
hurry.
It still works against Crypt Swarm, which is pretty nice. Yeah, I mean, I'm not seeing anything in the Dota wiki that specifically talks about Blade Mail not affecting Exorcism, so I would assume it works against Death Prophet, which would mean that Spike Carapace works. But even then, like, Nyx is a super strong hero still, I don't actually think he got nerfed that much. I can't remember. There was nothing like anything big for the Nyx in the last patch, so I don't think he is. I think he's still a pretty good hero, and he also like blocks a lot of the heroes, and we also have a pretty good lineup into it. So base strength reduced by 1, Vendetta cooldown rescaled, so it's a lot longer at level 1, but still the same at level 5, and the level 15 talent got nerfed a little bit, but that's not the most consequential changes. They picked Doxy, which is very curious here, which means they've revealed all their cores really early in the draft. There's just the support left It's a pretty good combo with the Darkseer because you can have the Iron Shell and Surge, and they're going to move super fast. But their lanes aren't the strongest.
Only 10 seconds.
Darkseer, he's always going to get farm, but he never really wins the lane. You usually just skip the creeps and just be annoying that way.
Dire's ban.
And so we finally pick Wind Ranger. Nice counter against the DP in lane, and just making sure they can't ban it in the next ban phase. So we pick it now, and all that's left for us is the carry. Actually, I don't remember who we picked here. But I guess Darkseer, you either want someone who can blow up the creep, the Iron Shell creep, or just be a ranged hero and kind of ignore the
Radiance ban.
The Iron Shell for a little bit. They banned Tinker, which I was really surprised about, because Wind Ranger I feel like is not the best safe lane carry. She definitely peaks, especially in this patch. She's had her Ags changed so that the focus fire, it's not a buff to focus fire anymore, it's a buff to Wind Run. And I actually think the new Ags on Wind Ranger and GH, who's our Wind Ranger players, like also confirmed this. It's like it definitely feels a lot better. You play way more aggressively with 2 charges of the Wind Run. You can move past max move speed, so we can kind of match this Darkseer Surge a little bit as well. And also the best part is the cooldown reduction that was built into the Ag Scepter is part of the normal spell now, so it's less. It's not really like a huge nerf to the focus fire. You still get the damage chant level 25 eventually, but doing 30% less damage is probably not the biggest deal for Wind Ranger. She still hits super hard, well, not hard, super fast, and does more than enough damage. Oh, I remember who we picked now. We picked Morphling because I mean, there's a lot of good stuff for us. We can always steal like the Grimstroke's abilities, or even Darkseer. Just put the Surge and the Iron Shell onto the Morphling and have him move really fast. And the other thing is he's a ranged hero with a lot of base damage, who can take out the Iron Shell creep really quickly. He also doesn't feel very pressured by the Darkseer here because he can always go Strength Morph for more health, and they don't have much burst damage right now with just the Darkseer in the lane. So it's a really easy lane for the Morphling. We ban Ancient Apparition as well because it's a pretty natural Morphling counter. And none of these heroes also don't want to buy a Spirit Vessel. Grimstroke could eventually buy one. I don't think it gets copied by the Soul Bind because it doesn't really count as a ability. It doesn't get blocked by Lincolns, so it shouldn't get transferred with the Soul Bind. Again, I'm very unknowledgeable about the mechanics of Dota. So I'm also not really seeing anything about Urn or Spirit Vessel on the Grimstroke's page. So I'm feeling pretty confident about the draft. Warlock, what's in your Warlock will end with the Disruptor pick, which is okay against Morphling, but you have to set him up because there's not really a way. It's pretty hard to just land a raw Static Storm into Kinetic Field. Usually you need someone to set up, because one of the things Morphling can do is waveform during the glimpse, and he should make it out to the other side, but again, this is one of those things that, like, it's not obvious what the interaction should be. But I'm feeling very confident about this this draft that we have, because Morphling, he's just going to instantly blow up the Grimstroke and the Disruptor, and DP as well is going to struggle a lot, because she tends to want to build armor rather than magic resistance, and we've got, oh, Morphling does both, but like he's pretty front loaded on the magic damage, and Wind Ranger does a ton of physical damage, so DP is going to have to itemize for both, and she's not going to be able to do that early on, at least. So yeah, yeah, I mean, going into this draft, I was feeling incredibly confident about it. But let's hop into the game after these anime loading screens. And we'll also introduce the teams while we're here. On the side of Facebook mid on Newsfeed, we've got Maybe plus CTY on the Tidehunter. A lot of voice lines coming out here. Myself, Vintage on the Warlock. ABC on the Nyx Assassin. GH on the Wind Ranger. And Ro8 on the Morphling. Goodness gracious, Papa. The side of CapOne, what's in your Warlock? We got Pyrotrout on the Sven, Slick Willy on the Disruptor, Strawberry Cheesecake on the Darkseer, BS on the Grimstroke, and CSD on the Death Prophet. So not going to be too many crazy laney things going on here because it's just pretty standard lanes so far. Darkseer in the off lane and Tide in the off lane, so can't really change it up too much. One thing we could do is put Morphling in mid, but it's a little bit annoying for the Morphling. He's probably not going to die either once he gets level 5, but it's just so easy for the Wind Ranger. You can always just wind run out of there, and ABC is getting really low. He gets ink swelled, and he might almost go down here. Sven has another stunt in 8 seconds, but he's not going to go for it. So Nyx Assassin with the quad mango strat is going to have a ton of HP regen. He should be pretty close to full HP by the time this laning phase starts. Although if he runs in again, a nice 2-man impale from ABC will actually help them secure the bounty rune. Actually, the Stormbolt comes out instead. So Pyrochat will be able to grab one of them. It's going to be 2 for 2 bounty runes. Actually 3 bounty runes for what's in your Warlock. Strawberry Cheesecake managing to grab one at butt. BS is getting really low here. He doesn't have a salve though, and a nice impale from the trees will get them the kill. ABC draws first blood here. Sven also getting super low here. He's gonna be forced to maybe burn his salve. He's got 4 tango, so gonna rely on that for a little bit. So Morphling against the Darkseer is not too bad for the Darkseer, and I'm just doing the regular thing, spamming out Fatal Bonds. Disruptor didn't get clipped in that one, which is a bit unfortunate there. So Death Prophet, I like that CSC has leveled Crypt Swarm instead of Soul Siphon, which is normally what happens at level 1. And Tidehunter goes down at top. An easy combo from the Sven and the Grimstroke will result in his death. He was not too healthy after the bounty rune engagement earlier. But yeah, normally you level Spirit Siphon at level 1, but he's not going to be able to get a good Spirit Siphon on the Wind Ranger, so why not go for the Crypt Swarm. Another stun onto the Sven. He's getting pretty low here. He also burnt his salve after getting the kill on the Tidehunter. So just down to 2 tangos, and Nyx burnt one of his mangoes, but he still has 3 left. Yeah, and this is I mean, they can't really pressure the Morphling here. The Thunder Strike is damage over time, the Iron Shell is damage over time. There's literally no way for Morphling to die here, especially once he gets level 3. He's feeling a bit of pressure here now, but he's just gonna Strength Morph up and not be able to do much. I also give him a small heal as well. The heal being super effective when Morphling's on low HP. And then he just put some strength back into the pool. Sven getting super low again. Now he's completely out of regen. He's not going to be able to approach this lane anymore. He's given a tango by BS at least. Oh, I think I just cancelled one of the clarities. I'm pretty bad mannered when I play this game, as I'm not going to apologize for it. But it's a bit of a farm fest so far, but Wind Ranger pulling way ahead on last hits, or actually not too much, never mind. But she's topping the net at the last hit chart. 3 denies up and 3 last hits up, although 2 last hits up now. And bot lane, the ping comes out, big fatal bonds onto the 2 heroes here. And Cheesecake's Strawberry Cheesecake, he's putting himself in a bit of danger. He might go down a waveform forward, and Adaptive Strike will finish him off. Warlock going for 1-1-1 instead of the second point into the morph. So feeling really confident in this lane that he's not gonna die here, and that would be pretty correct to assume so. There's always the Shadow Word, and the Shadow Word finishes off the Disruptor as well. So yeah, there's the Shadow Word and the Morph, and there's like almost no way this Morphling's gonna die here, so why not put the early point into the waveform and get a bit more burst damage. And it's it used to be, I think, a little bit above average for a nuke, but they've tuned it down a little bit. I think it used to do 100 damage. Surge from the Darkseid. He's trying to cancel my clarity, and he manages to get it, but I drop a Fatal Bond on him anyway, just to make him pay for that one a little bit. Darkseid finally picking up a Soul Ring, so he's going to be able to spam out the Iron Shell indefinitely now. Top lane, some action happening here. Nick's getting really low. He might go down. He has an Impale, but he ends up going down anyway. So, Wind Ranger already with a slight level advantage. He is level 5 against the level 4 DP. But DP's not too far behind yet. Just unable to dominate the lane as you kind of want to as DP, but most of the time you do end up just trading out evenly. So 5-minute boundaries are coming up. Darkseid's going to be able to get the 2 at bot. And actually, it looks like What's in Your Warlock might be able to get this one as well. A nice Impale from Nyx will help them get one more. So they, What's in Your Warlock, they managed to get 3, although they haven't picked up this one yet. Me thinking it's in the bag, so there's not really much point. I didn't really have an opportunity to go contest that one, so Disruptor will finally pick it up. Sven getting really low again. Pretty sure he's just stayed low. And a nice Impale through the tower as well from ABC. Disruptor's heading mid. We'll see what he can do against the Wind Ranger. But Wind Ranger, she has Focus Fire now, so this could be really dangerous for the DP if she decides to die for this. I'm not really sure what the Disruptor can do by himself. If he shows himself too early, he's just going to get run out with a Focus Fire and die. If DP goes too early, she's going to get Focus Fire down. And the Focus Fire comes out, and Disruptor is on the other side of the tower right now. The nice wind run to dodge the tower hits, and a Shackle as well with the power shot, not fully charged up. DP will go down, but GH gives up his own life for the cause. But gee, a pretty big kill for the Disruptor. He gets a ton of levels. He's level 4 now, and also getting some solar XP as well. And I decided to the TP mid to try and help out Wind Ranger, but it was already in too deep there. Wasn't really able to get there in time, but I'm also okay with this because there's no way that the DS can pressure the Morphling right now. So I'm pretty happy to leave Morphling alone and help him get some more levels to get the third point into Morph attribute shift, which is really like when it becomes really impossible to kill him. And DP feeling some pressure again, but should be okay. So I've been experimenting with going like 4-2 and then maxing upheaval afterwards. That's the build I'm going to go for here. I don't think there's going to be any crazy builds. Actually, Slick Willy with 2 points in Thunderstrike, which is not something you see too often. You really have to max Glimpse first because the cast range on level 1 Glimpse is pretty miserable. The cooldown is also super long, so you really do need to max that one out first. But he's going for 3 points in the Thunderstrike, and ABC in a little bit of trouble. He activates the Spike Carapace, so won't get Stormbolt, but a nice 2-man Impale onto the 2 heroes here. Stormbolt on just the Tidehunter, and the Warcry gets broken instantly. BS is here now, so you might be able to turn this one around. Another Anchor Smash comes out and finishes off Slick Willy, and Tide getting really low, but he manages to stick up and won't go down here. Another Anchor Smash comes out and finishes off the Sven, although ABC claims that kill. And Grim now in a lot of trouble. Another Impale is up in 4 seconds, so we'll see if Nyx Assassin is able to get it, and it doesn't look like he's going to go for it. He can turn on the Spike Carapace to get out of here if he wants to, but it looks like he's just going to try and work out. He can now it's going to turn it on. And also ABC with an interesting build here. I've been seeing him try this one out a lot. GH in the meantime getting a solo kill with a focus fire. It's a pretty easy kill to get, and GH running into the Death Prophet here, but GH manages to pick up the Arcane Rune underneath the nose of the DP, and it's time for another power shot. Big power shot coming through, fully charged up as well in the first target, so 360 damage on her. So I was trying to say, ABC has been trying this like 404 build on the Nyx Assassin, because the mana burn straight up like isn't a good spell early on. It's based on your intelligence, and heroes early on in the game don't have a whole lot of intelligence, so it's okay, but it's like probably the worst spell. And the cooldown reduction on Spike Carapace is super useful, as well as the extra stun duration, so it's a lot harder. It's really hard to set up the Impale after a level 1 Spike Carapace, but level 2 Spike Carapace, easiest stun of your life. And I've decided to leave the Morphling fully alone now. He's got a Morbid Mask, so he should not feel any pressure. We're not pressuring the Darkseer, but we can't really pressure the Darkseer, so we're okay with this. We're going to go for a top instead, and BS gets impaled. Anchor Smash comes out. It's going to die really quickly here. One more hit will eventually finish him off, but DP manages to get the kill on... actually, the Strike of Fate finishes off the Tide. Nyx is just going to TP out of there, and that's a wasted exorcism for the DP, and Morphling gets a solo kill on Strawberry Cheesecake there. So we're starting to feel really good about this game. We know we're at a pretty gold advantage, but we're not really sure how much. It's 3k gold advantage. It's really hard in the game to figure out how far ahead you actually are. You kind of just need to feel it out. And 10-minute boundaries, I'm going to go for the other one, but I can hear the ghosts, so DP is just going to chase me over. She has to retreat to get the bounty runes. Actually may have been able to chase me there, because BS could have picked it up in the meantime. BS is almost done with Arcane Boots, which is not the worst timing for a position 5 support, although I think Disrupt is probably the one buying the wards here. And Slick's actually hit level 6 before the 10-minute mark, which means you're doing really well as a support. That solo kill against the Wind Ranger earlier gave him a lot of extra levels. And so, nice impale onto the Grimstroke, and Spike Carapace will keep him in place for a little bit. And well, we're feeling really confident about this push as well, because we've got the Golem and the Ravage. And even with just the 3 of us, it's pretty difficult for What's in Your Warlock to take this fight.
Dire's middle tower is being attacked.
Wind Ranger finally finishing up the phase boots. Takes the mid tier 1 tower. Morphling getting rotated on. We actually see with this board that Sven is coming, so the TP rotations are coming. Nyx will be the first one to arrive. He's got the Vendetta, so you can use it to scout as well, and they don't have any sentries with them, so Static Storm comes out, but a nice 3-man impale from the Nyx Assassin will keep the Morphing alive, and he gets the Strength Morph into a 3-man Stormbolt, and the rock comes down. All 5 heroes from Facebook Build on Newsfeed are here, and they get a wipe there on 3 heroes who have showed up, and it's time to take this tower. The Golem's down, the Siege Creep is here. This should be a pretty easy tower. Although meanwhile, Wind Ranger, she's still in mid. No, TP back to mid. It's gonna continue the farm here. So we still have the Ravage, which means we can go for more if we want to, depending on what kind of vision we get. Nyx is going to scout ahead of time and just misses the Impale on CSC there. It's not going to be able to get it, but a focus fire on the Darkseer. Wind Ranger misses her shackles. That could have been a kill, but it's pretty hard to hit. And a Ravage comes down on the back line. DP in a lot of trouble, gets impaled and taken out by the Adaptive Strike. And Slick Willie's going to go down as well. 7k gold lead now. Pyrotrite comes in with a Stormbolt, but it's time to back out for Facebook. We have Ravage down, and we're gonna go back for the tower. The tower's pretty low, so this is not a bad move.
Dire's bottom tower is in pieces.
So 8k gold lead now. It really swung very quickly. This game was very passive for the first like 6 minutes, and then it just kind of blew wide open, honestly. Oh, I remember what happened here. Maybe was like, oh, let's stay in the jungle for a little bit and take the ancient stack. and it did happen, but we still don't have Ravage and the Chaos offering right now, so it's pretty dangerous for us to fight. Maybe shows himself he has a mech, so it should help him keep him alive for a little bit. Nick's still scouting. Won't get the reflection on the spiked carapace there. Morph going for an S and a Y first, and looks like the call is to go for the Sven. We have the Observer to spot him out, but just gotta force him out of the jungle here. You need to be careful to not get surrounded here, but it should be okay.
Dire's top tower is under siege.
Morph just split pushing. He's going to take the tower here as well. There's not much to stop him because no one really wants to fight. But it looks like Facebook wants to fight here. They get the war cry on the Sven, and the Static Storm Kinetic Field on the Wind Ranger. It means she's in a lot of trouble. The Shadow Word comes out, but it's not going to be enough to save her. And Vintage is going to go down as well. So a bit of a misplay because the ultimates aren't up yet. I remember being really angry at my team for trying that play even because Ravage is still down for 20 seconds. I just got the Chaotic Offering off cooldown, but I guess it's fine because the Morphling's free farming, but losing our mid was a pretty big deal there. Definitely a small throw, but we're still 8k gold ahead. I think we still felt really far ahead at this point. The waifu gets put onto the Nyx assassin, but you gotta be okay. Morphling's just farming under wards, he doesn't give a crap. Nyx actually finds Slick Willy here, gets a nice Vendetta Impale, and it's gonna get taken out here. Power shot, plus one more right click. The Greaves is almost done on the Tidehunter. It's gonna be really hard to take down Facebook once he gets it. Not even gonna bother with the blink first, and I like this a lot from Tidehunter. It's I think it's like the new style build, right? Alright, well nice. ABC picks up the Bounty Rune and gets a double spike carapace on both the Darkseer and the Storm bolt, which is pretty nice. So GH gonna try and look for a solo pick off here, but it's not the easiest. Yeah, goes for the focus fire on the DP, gets silenced pretty quickly, and the Inkswell will pop here, but the Wind Run will slow this down for a little bit. So CSC looks like he's gonna go down here. GH in the meantime gets glimpsed back in, will go down himself, but he manages to kill the DP first, which seems worth it. Although the supports are getting a bit of farm. It's just the supports though. Tidehunter is looking for this Darkseer kill. The Gush comes out with the Anchor Smash, but not going to be enough there. Didn't want to blow Ravage, seems reasonable. And Nyx with the reduced Vendetta, the increased Vendetta cooldown means he's not going to have it right now, but a Spike Carapace into a double Impale, and the Ravage is going to come out onto 4 heroes here. The stolen Storm Bolt on the Morphling. The Static Storm comes out, and this is looking pretty bad for Facebook, but the Chaotic Offering comes out from the Warlock, the Fatal Bonds as well. So CSC, he activates Exorcism, but he's going to go down instantly, and now Pyrochart in a lot of trouble. He has God Strength activated for the extra strength, but he's just going to get taken down. He's going to try and take out the Tidehunter before he goes down, but he got Anchor Smash, so the reduced damage is going to make that really tough, and a full team wipe. And I like to think I turned that fight around. It was looking pretty grim, but I managed to get a nice rock onto the cause and a nice Fatal Bonds as well. So I like to think I saved that fight pretty well. And it's time to push high ground because well, we're just trying to pressure it a little bit. We don't have the most power push, but we do have the focus fire. It doesn't. Alright, there you go. GH finally uses the focus fire on the tower, but the fort comes out and everyone's up, so it's time to retreat. One of the things you can do at this point is a fake back. I'm trying to bait them in a little bit, but I think I'm gonna go down here. I get glimpsed back, and there's not really much point in saving me, although this nice shackle comes out, keeps me alive for a little bit longer. I end up going down there. We don't have ultimates either, so we don't really want to fight right now. Nyx going for an early Meteor Hammer. In typical fashion, it's what you do when you're ahead. And I mean, Tidehunter might be in a bit of trouble here. He's not going to be able to get away from the Glimpse, but the Glimpse is still on cooldown, so the haste would just let him walk out of there. And Nyx's going to scout here. Go for the courier. We did have vision for it, so Nyx takes out the courier. Pretty big deal there. And Darksea getting blown up, a nice 2-man Stormbolt, and Nyx actually picks up the Grimstroke in the backline. Meanwhile, Darksea and the Sven getting really low. Another Anchor Smash finishes off the Darksea, and now Pyrochat in a lot of trouble again. He gets taken out here. Slick Willy in a lot of danger. Waveform forward, and GG is called. So, what's in your Warlock? Not feeling like they can continue on in this game. Let's see what Gaben thinks. I guess they're right. Gaben thinks it's pretty likely, so I feel really good about this game, the draft and the execution, so that's a minor slip up in the triangle area, but I think we played this game pretty flawlessly for the most part. And we'll see if What's in Your Warlock can turn this around in the second game. Overall, I just think that their draft felt a little bit weak. Picking the DP really early on means it was really easy to counter, and then the last pick Disruptor just didn't really have a big impact, wasn't able to stop the Morphling anyway.